Hey guys, welcome to this video. This is John Watts. I'm a consumer protection lawyer in Alabama. And I want to share something because there's a lot of confusion over this. And that is the 3 time periods that a debt collector can take action against you. And so the first time period is the time period to sue you. And that's the statute of limitations. Okay. So is that 3 years? Is it 6 years? Is it 4 years? It all depends on what type of case, what state you're in. But that's the time period to sue. So sort of keep that over here. The second time period is the time period to credit report on you. That is basically 7.5 years from when you first missed the payment. Or let me state it a little bit differently. Once you go 6 months without making a payment, that's usually considered the first major delinquency. And that starts the clock running for 7 years for that debt collector, or really anybody, but here we're talking about a debt collector, to report on your credit. So it does not matter when the debt collector bought the debt or when they were assigned the debt. So let's say that I stopped making payments in January 2014. Well, by June 2014, that's the first major delinquency. And then they can report it for 7 years after that. Well, what if the debt collector buys the debt in June 2020? So basically they have 1 more year to credit report. They don't get another 7 years. Okay. It doesn't matter if they buy it the day before that 7-year period expires. It all goes back to that date of first major delinquency. So we've talked about the time period to sue, the time period to credit report. Well, what about just the time period to collect in general? To call you, to write you letters? How long can they do that? In most cases, there is no time period. Okay. But let me say this. Keeping in mind the statute of limitation time period to sue. If they sue you after that time period, you can sue them under the FDCPA, Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. If they threaten to sue you after the time period to sue, the statute of limitations has expired, you most likely can sue them for that. Same thing with credit report. They credit report after that time period, they violated law. You can sue them. They threaten to credit report you after a time period. You can sue them for that. Well, on this writing and calling, there's really no time period, but they have to be really, really careful. And a lot of times they'll mess up because in their letter they'll talk about, contact us immediately before we review our options on suing you. Well, they can't sue you. There are no options to review. Okay? So I would sue them over that. If they say, we may credit report on you. Well, what do you mean you may credit report? I had my first major delinquency 9 years ago. You cannot credit report. Nothing in the world can change it. You can never credit report on me. So to say, well, we may credit report on you, that implies that it's possible when the truth is it's impossible. So again, I've sued companies for that. So if they're going this third route of just collecting, calling, writing, they have to be really careful. They don't do anything to suggest they might sue you or anything to suggest that they might credit report on you. And frankly, for most of these companies, it's very hard for them to do. What you'll see them doing at the bottom of the letters, they'll say, due to the age of this account, we will not credit report on you. We will not sue you. And so to be really careful. And look, you get one of those letters, then you can always send them a cease and desist letter. I mean, they can't contact you again. So anyway, I hope that that's helpful discussing these 3 time periods. And feel free to subscribe to our channel, check out our other videos. And if we can help you in any way, just let us know. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.